A very warm welcome back to the PGL Europe Minor Championships 2017. Just 5 more matches to go here over the next 2 days. 2 left today, both best of 3s, and then the next one is Dignitas versus Big for a place in the offline finals. The offline qualifier leading to the Krakow Major. Just one more step in front of it. It's been a long road for both of these teams as well. We've got a change up on the desk. Henry G has come back to join us. Henry, welcome back.
Good afternoon. How's it going?
Yeah, all good. You?
Excited to have a big dig in front of you?
As always, yes, I am. Very good,
Okay,
Duncan.
well,
I
see
thought
how
we
they
said
perform.
we said we'll keep it friendly today.
Yeah, we
What happened?
Okay.
That is friendly.
Is it? Very friendly.
Not that
the
there's,
answer.
not that there's
It's too
anything wrong
friendly.
with that. Yeah.
No, possibly too. Nothing wrong with it.
Let's start with talking about Big. Duncan, they've been, I was going to say indifferent, but kind of okay since they came around at the start of January. Did well at Leipzig, won the iGame Winter Invite. Not big pool of talent there to beat, and then obviously they've been good in Germany in the ESL Meisterschaft as well. So they've got some form. We know about the players in the team. They've got a veteran leader in Godby. They've got all the right ingredients, it seems, to be a major team. But can they get there?
I think they can. Like, they've actually looked like the best team in this tournament so far. They kind of cruised in some of the games they played, I thought. I mean, Tabson basically just took care of everyone. It felt like in all the games they played, Kiev, etc., didn't have to do that much. Nexus kind of just chilled out, you know. The thing with this team is, like, first and foremost, when you consider some of these players were in NRG before over in NA, they're clearly a better team than that was. You know, that was a very flawed team. He only had success online. The only thing is, they've been a bit up and down. Like, they can clearly play some of the better teams close, but then they can also, like, if you saw Copenhagen Games, they didn't even come close to winning the tournament. And, you know, it was like the 5th best Danish teams, etc., going to the final. So they can be a bit bizarre in that sense. And the problem, I feel like, to me, their major flaw, it's kind of a less extreme version of what LDLC have, where they have the good in-game leader and they have tactics, they have players who have played together, but they really need their firepower. I mean, at least they've got firepower that they can identify, but it has to be Tabson and Nex. Like, they are the real stars of this team, you know. And yeah, Tabson's playing very well at the moment, but it's not like they're blowing everyone away with that. So I kind of feel like I think they're good enough. They've got the quality to get out of this part of the minor. Once they get to the qualifier, I think they're going to be one of the teams that's going to find it tough against those elite level teams.
I agree. I feel like the blessing and the curse they've got right now is Godby, great in-game leader, right? But it seems they focus too much on the really kind of strange strategies. So we see lots of different variations of what the usual teams are doing at the top end of the scene. They throw in lots of fakes and lots of strange smokes and stuff, which to me are a little bit too obvious when I see it. I watch it, and there's a reason the top teams don't do these strategies. And it's okay to watch, and it can be quite interesting at times at this level. I just don't think if they do make it somehow to the major, they won't find much success with that. That's the one kind of trouble I have with this team, I have to say.
In terms of your old team, Dignitas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Once upon a time, obviously.
Rolling back the years.
I am rolling back the years for you here. This lineup is very interesting, if not for the reason that for the first time, some of these players are playing in English. I know that some of them have. Jacob before, obviously, has played in a team where they've all spoken English, but it's new to Rubinho, for instance, who is also an in-game leader for the first time. It's such a challenge when you look at it. And so you go, well, all right, let's cut them a bit of slack, because they did struggle Open Qualifier 1. They struggled badly Open Qualifier 2, lost to like a Tier 6 team in the second round. It was absurd that they lost that match. Then finally got through the Open Qualifier 3. Didn't look great in the closed qualifier either. And to be fair, haven't looked brilliant here in the minor either. And yet somehow, here they are on the verge of a place in the offline final. So they're doing something right.
They are, but at the same time, this is a very experienced lineup. If you look at the big names available to them, you have to remember that this is a minor. You would expect these names just alone to be able to carry themselves through and have good performances. They're not going to have the best strategies or the deepest map pool, but they are going to have the names that can step up. We have seen, like you said, Rubinho stepping into the in-game leader position for the first time. That can bring some sort of honeymoon period as well. Like, he's not jaded by it yet. He hasn't seen the real frustrations at the big tournaments as to what can go wrong.
It's true.
So they're going to be quite forgiving of him in some scenarios as well. It's nice to see the roles coming together. I think that was the sentiment we took away from the first showing of them, right? It seems like everyone's quite established. We've got the young guy coming in as well, and Fox with that kind of AWP main role for once as well. He used to be this Portuguese superstar of the AWP, and they're allowing him to be that once again. And at this tournament, at least, it's looking great. How long that will last, I'm not so sure. Like we said, honeymoon period for a lot of these sort of teams, the international squads, they can have one good event, then dramatically drop off, and then they need to readjust. We saw that in FaZe many times. Everyone thinks like FaZe now, they feel like, oh, it's an amazing team, right? If you think back to that project even 2 years ago when they first appeared at DreamHack Valencia, it wasn't very good at all. No. So it can significantly drop off.
Absolutely. Let's bring in the map veto. Duncan, what are you expecting here?
I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can go with this one because, Dignitas as a team, they've shown us a lot in this tournament, actually. I mean, obviously, they won that match on Train where LDLC, it was crazy from the LDLC side to begin. It wasn't from the Dig side, actually. Dig hadn't really shown us anything on it. So, Dignitas is able, because they're playing Big, to go ahead and get their best map, which is Mirage, because it's a very strong map for the guys from Big as well. Then we've got Inferno in there for the guys from Big. That's not a bad map for Dignitas, certainly not their best. So you have to feel like if you're Big, you're loving the first 2 maps already. Really good chance. And then the third map being Cash. These are literally the 3 best maps of Big. So the problem that Dignitas has is, first of all, map pool, they have to play the opponent's strong maps. So you've got a lot of opportunities to win here. And then secondly, I just feel like stylistically, this is a bad mismatch, I feel. Because what I saw LDLC exploit in Dignitas yesterday was that if you had good tactics and you could execute them, first of all, you get into sites. Forget that even if they have better fraggers, you get into the sites. Yep. And in fact, sometimes the reaction from Dignitas was play even more passive. So I think, if anything, Big is an upgraded firepower version of LDLC in that sense. So I feel like with the maps as well, this could be a very vulnerable Dignitas, I feel.
Yeah, very good points there. Actually, it's really true. If you went to LDLC, the problem is they don't have the superstars. We do have stars available in the big lineup. Tabson, right? I think he seems ready enough in terms of individual skill-wise to actually be playing maybe in Tier 1. He's been unbelievable in some games. So he'll be stepping up this game, and I think Duncan's right. The tactics available, too big at this point. This is going to be a really rough veto. It always was going to be for Dignitas generally. They're Big have been a team for a while now, since I think it was about the beginning of the year they started this project.
Yep.
And Dignitas, barely 2 months, and that's just going for online qualifiers as well. It's not like they've had lots of experience here. So we saw the lack of strategies they had yesterday, and as I mentioned before, they'll be relying basically on some of the big names. Jacob, for me, hasn't had the best tournament. Fox has looked really good as well. Rubino's had some MVP performances. We're looking to them to step up. But yeah, I tend to agree. I do feel like Big have got the advantage here, and this just could be a straight up 2-0, I think.
Okay. What is the strength in the Dignitas lineup that might help them get past this hurdle?
I do think what we've seen in this tournament that we didn't know about them from the online games is the development of Rubino. We saw a few occasions where, yes, he doesn't have a deep playbook yet, and they don't really necessarily seem to have 100% figured out all the roles. They've got the basics there. He did make some good adaptations, like he'd make a mid-round call, or because he's such a smart player himself, I think it was coming from that, it's like what he would have done as a player, he just applied to the team concept. So I think that can help on the T side, that can get them something. It's just that even his stars, even his big players have been a bit inconsistent. Really, only Fox has been consistent. That's the only player who you look to put a big frags, who in general was doing it game to game to game. So I actually feel like that's one area where I can give them the advantage. I'd go ahead and say at the moment with how Kiev plays, he's all right, but he seems a bit neutral online. So I'll give Fox the heads up on that one. Yeah,
I think that could be the differentiating factor here. I think Kiev, he's an okay player. He's certainly not a superstar AWPer. So that could be the fight that really decides it as well. We spoke in the interview yesterday with Jake, and we said, how does it come down? Is Fox actually deciding his kind of initial interactions at the beginning of the map? And that is actually happening. So we saw it in that Train game as well. Looked very kind of assertive, wants to go find the picks, and he's getting them. Duncan's right. He's probably been the MVP generally overall. I don't think anyone really expected that. I certainly wasn't coming into this tournament. I knew Fox might be AWPing. Didn't expect this kind of play. I thought it'd be more passive, kind of hold the line style AWPing, but it's actually been surprisingly and pleasantly surprising, I guess.
Has hit some incredible shots as well. Let's bring in our commentary duo for this one. We've got Matt and Harry in the commentary box. Gents, you looking forward to this one?
Yeah, I think so. I'm more looking forward to see if Dignitas can continue to develop their T-sides, obviously. I think the more time that Rubino has with this team, the better. It's almost like this major's shown up maybe a month early for where they kind of are in their development. But if they can get through this, if they can get one of the 3 teams, then I think they actually could develop into sort of the offline qualifier role quite well. So I want that. I want to see them actually succeed in this case.
All right. Well, good luck, and thanks very much for bringing us game number 2.
Thank you very much. We will do our best. Having said that, though, going against Big, I don't know if this is the game that they'll win, because Big looks very structured and have looked impressive as of late.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the issues. Right? I think Dignitas have impressed both you and me. The real issue I'm seeing is that Big are probably the ones that have impressed everyone the most here. And coming into this is probably Dignitas' 3 best maps. But at the same time, it's 2 of Big's best and one that they're incredibly good on. So, I mean, I am probably going to be leading the way a Big, even though a part of me wants Dignitas to win this, but, I mean, I want to see them go through to the major qualifier. I'm not sure this is the time for them to do it. I think if we're going to see it happen, it'll have to be in the next game.
Yeah, I mean, the hard thing is, Envy almost don't deserve to go through at this point in time the way that they're playing. So if Dignitas were able to capitalize on that, credit to them. And in all fairness, Envy just didn't show up. So why should they get through that? That said, like I say, it's tough for Dignitas to really get behind that in full force, considering the situation. And it is really, in me, Big and Penta that deserve to go through, and the fact that they've worked the hardest as a team for the most amount of time to really develop where they are at this point in time. But Mirage is going to be an interesting one because it gives Fox a bit of room to play. He's been a lot more aggressive this weekend, which is really encouraging to me. But aside from that, we'll see what they can come up with. Kiev, if he can get rolling on the AWP, he's not always the flashiest, but when he's in the zone, can definitely be punishing. And CT side, I think, is a very good spot for him to start.
Yeah, and well, into this one, Dignitas is going to be sending everyone over here towards B. Rubino looking like he's going to take things slowly. And actually, look at this aggression from tabseN, pushing up mid very early. I'm going to get so much information on the back of this. Smoke's now raining in towards B. Next playing it a little bit aggressively. Does have GotB here to help out. Takes the peek on in. The flashes rain through, and GotB, the first man to find someone, going to dispatch of Croman. Now as the push looks to come on in, Next and GotB have to remain steadfast. They bought so much time for this rotate, and for Dignitas, it's all just falling apart. Tensky and Fox remain. Make that just Fox, and tabseN with a quick triple to round that off.
Yeah. About perfect. Rush down B, old tactic. Hope to catch them off. Hope that no one's going to be inside of the site, and they just absolutely batter them with good aim. tabseN, again, looking very impressive. I'm super encouraged by the way that he's played as of late, and I really actually want to see him get to a much higher tier. Get up to that offline qualifier where we can see more from them.
Yeah, Dignitas this time. Just going to go for Deegs across the board. The Deco. And out in mid, tabseN already able to pick off one. Trying to get more done. Rubino forced back. Doesn't want to re-peek into the beast. And that is tabseN in mid. The only player with the rifle. Holding the long angle. Does make sense. Jake, we're going to be down in low. Is held back by that Molotov. Tensky. Gonna meet him as the rest of the guys now head over here towards A.
Kiev and Shadow. Forward stance bomb as well inside of the main position with Coleman waiting to get out from apartments. Gonna be re-smoked, which will buy more time for Big. Perfect. No real support for Kiev as of yet. They want to stack up over toward the B site to make sure they're not going to flood out through the apartment. Slow walk in from Rubino. He's going to try and look to catch off Kiev. Molotov goes on top from his teammate, which actually hit him. So now Rubino knows he's underneath. So the Molotov actually causes them problems in a way that they didn't anticipate, as tabseN finds two and Next gets one. He'll follow that up, and Big will collect the round, but they definitely made it more costly for themselves. They managed to keep the M4 up, which is the important gun out of all of that, but that single tick from a Molotov, definitely costly.
Yeah, for round, I mean, Dignitas only invested in Deagles, and they can't be too disappointed. They drop out 3 players. They, as you said, carry that M4 forward, which is a bit of a silver lining, but still, I mean, it's heavy casualties that they sustain. They've had to rebuy up into this round. GotB looks like he's even going to take a weapon into it, just a P250 with armor up behind it. And as a result of investing in Deegs, Dignitas have a little bit more to play with into this one. Just some more pistols on the board, the armor up for Jacob. And this time they're going to go ahead and send all 5 players over here towards A.
Oh, Kiev gets up as well. It's going to catch them off this time. It's better, same position, but more aggressive. No one to give him away. They go faster. It works for him. So now close out the round with tabseN on rotation. Now we get the guns out. Question is with Kiev, I imagine goes straight to the AWP because he's on 7,050, I should be, to be exact. And there it is. So straight onto it, no surprise. Kiev likely goes to mid off this. It seems like the standard positioning to do in the opening round, but expect that to be smoked off quite frequently from Dignitas.
In particular, when they don't have that AWP up on the T side, they're making their way out mid. tabseN actually the one here with Kiev playing in a connector. Smokes are down, but there's a gap in the one in connector, allowing him to peek up over the top. Misses that shot. Now looks to try and fade away. tabseN trying to help out best he can. They've also got GotB up towards short. Bomb posted up in B. With him is Tensky. GotB, I mean, he's looking curious as to what mid potentially has in store. Going to be able to peek on out. Nearly finds one through the smoke. Doesn't actually deal any damage. And now they know there's a player pushed up on short. Going to be relying heavily on Kiev to try and help him out. And as that smoke comes in, they're going to have to wrap onto B. 3 players on short, 2 up in apps, and a perfect setup here from Dignitas on this push.
To some extent, yes, but to the other extent, the fact that there's ready for a tradable position on Catwalk, no. Thankfully, they managed to win out the duels. Tensky, already out of apartments, is able to cover off the position toward Checkers. Backdoor at least. Splash goes through to get Kiev. Watch the cross, though. Rubino has to give a secondary flash if he wants to go to the van. Instead, he'll stay inside of the site. It's Tabson that wants to get inside of the back of apartments to rotate back around. The problem is if they don't get the next pick, call the save. You've invested Kiev onto the AWP. You've bought into the round quite significantly. Why bother hurting the economy when you can still bring out guns in the next one, force up and try and break them down? It's going to be a very tight force considering the reinvestment. So round 2 definitely plays into, or rather, excuse me, round 3 definitely plays into round 4 in the fact that it's going to help Dignitas, but they themselves need to make sure they stay alive. And Tabson's positioned perfectly inside of the apartments to try and capitalize, but runs out of ammo. Eagle won't do. Bomb should get, nope, not quite. Tensky's well enough outside of the doorway, and they lose the op. So good round from Dignitas to close it.
Yeah, that's the ult picked up for Fox. He's going to have that to play with. And as they lose all the players that we're looking to try and save, reinvesting isn't looking too likely. Probably going to be buying down to around about 2,000. No, actually going to elect to go all out. They buy the AWP up for Kiev. They're going to try and force this one up early on. It's aggressive. It's risky. There is a very high potential reward if they pick it up in the form of that reset onto Dignitas.
AWP for Kiev. He can with it. Can't find an opening. Gonna back off as well as Lagia is gonna go down. Yep, no chance. All it took was one tick. That reaches him. Very slow motion. Just watch the wave wash over him. Down he goes. Tensky's gonna take out Kiev as well. That's gonna leave just Tabson smoked off. Not much they can do. Again, another call where they might have to save early. Does hit Croman through the smoke, but without a kill confirmed, you won't even know that he's hit him, and therefore they won't have the confidence to really take advantage of the situation. And away they go. Exits is the only goal. Gun for Nex is the main objective at this point in time.
Yeah, I think a better call there from Big, in all honesty, to take the save early. They're looking like they're going to try and send Nex in to grab himself a gun. He does fall as a result. And it's looking risky for Tabs. Still another player towards top mid, and that is Croman. We'll pick him up. They lose the only rifle they could have potentially saved out of that round. And yeah, it kind of came down to maybe overstaying their welcome down there towards Connector. They wanted to get Nex a gun, and I understand having Tabs in there to try and trade out for him. But it just was not meant to be. Dignitas get themselves a second. Rubino going to be investing in the MAC-10. He knows the economic situation on Big is going to be heavily compromised, so he can now look to try and make some cash and improve the economic situation that much more on Dignitas.
So no stack to go off of this. Looking at down to early inside of the mid window with the scout trying to get a pick. No smoke on it. Croman just hits him with the AK. Take him to take out Nex in response. Tabson only getting one with the pistol, but a good start at least for the P250 as he goes back for more, catches Croman. Trying to re-smoke window from inside of mid after they just got peeked. I'm not really sure I understand the mentality on that one, but fair enough. Fox will get Tabson down. It still gives them a man advantage, but it's not exactly been perfect by any means. And on top of that, Jacob's low enough, it doesn't really matter what weapon they have. He's dead in one hit no matter what.
Yeah, the boost going to be employed, and this could be the equalizer found. No, God, but he's still going to go down. And Kiev, now left alone, spots Fox out in mid, goes for the peek with the scout, beheads him. Knows that Jacob is up and overward short. Has to worry about the potential push in from ladder. Bomb is down. Kiev is very talented with this scout as well. Here's the player rotating in to try and grab the bomb. Spotting it from Connector will be smoked back. Jacob still holding the angle from short. Has to be careful. Kiev looking away at just the wrong time. Rotating into B. Is going to be in a great position to catch these guys off guard as now they come in. Misses that shot, and that could have been the difference maker. Molotov looking to try and hold him back. He works his way into the site, but Jacob drops him out. Only 3 HP. That still picks up 2 huge frags there at the end to cement a third for Dignitas.
Yeah, 3 in a row with guns out. Definitely seeing that they're winning duels, same as yesterday. I think it's the first indication of whether or not they're going to be aggressive again with the guns out in the next round, because it's been 2 force buys where essentially, or force and a save, I should say, to be completely truthful with you, which has limited Big's economy, and it goes to show just getting those kills early on that it's costly reinvestment to get Kiev in the AWP that early. Flash out from Tapson to try and get a peek into middle, but it's going to be a pretty standard formation. No one's going to get overly aggressive on the window. Catwalk smoke. Fox hasn't gotten to the box yet. Slow and steady, they'll stick in a pack. And it does seem, if we're going to read into it, again, without guns, that mid-control is going to be a large part of Dignitas' game, which does not surprise me at all, given that they want to play the range duels as best as they can.
Big down and connector. Pete gonna come out from Taps, and he will get punished for that one. And actually got to be able to get one back in return. That's bomb dropped in connector. This could be a bit of a turning point here. Got beat. Gonna fall to Croman on that peak. The two players down in connector both fall. And now it's all on next. 1v4 making his way up short. Has to be careful because Fox is here, and as he rattles shots out, actually finds one nearly a second, but Croman thankfully does pick that up at range with the AK. Dignitas looking fairly convincing right now, picking up all 4 rifle rounds.
Well, that time actually it was a save, so they were on the pistols. They've only really had one full buy. They picked up an AK, or a Scout and an AWP on round number 5 when they tried to rebuy into it after losing Kiev in the first round. I was surprised they were able to get the AWP over to him, but this time it is the full gun. Kiev won't go to the window right away this time. Didn't have a spawn. Goes toward A instead. Countered last time without getting a pick, so it's Rubino that he wants to find at a main. Rubino's not going to be down below just yet, holding the angle, and it's a lot more passive from Dignitas, knowing that the guns are out. They're going to try and send Fox instead on the AWP to open up the B site if he can.
Going to be pushing on through on his own. That smoke pushes him back and actually kind of tell us his effect. Dignitas now they look a little bit less incentivized to try anything out towards B, swapping out Fox for Tensky. As he now takes up position, Fox going to try and help crack open mid. Tabson in connector. The player to keep an eye on for Big in this scenario as they come on out. Wouldn't surprise me if he tried to take the peek, but oh, doesn't even see anyone. Fox drops him out on the shoulder peak. Man advantage taken here for Dignitas. Kiev tries to trade things back, and he's missed a couple of key shots now, and that could have been a turning point once more. It's now Dignitas rerouting back over towards ramp, trying to make their way out towards A. And Legia and Kiev, the two players here to try and hold this one down.
Legia top ladder is going to hold off the wide angle. Kiev's been pushed off, and they check it. Jacob takes him out. Good Shuri shot from Kiev. Has the angle to control, but they're too close. Gets aggressive with no smoke down, and now it's all Dignitas on the way through. Better approach to the round from them is slow it off and get the first pick, and then really take advantage of the fact that no one's trying to get information or ascertain any map control on the big side. Very passive, very slow from Dignitas to figure it out. Much better than what they were doing yesterday in that sense, because yesterday it really was all-out brawls, all-out duels. This time it's a little more thought out.
No money left for Big here. Looks like they're probably going to try and force buy down what they can, about $2,000. Could get them a pretty nice kind of collection of utility armor and pistols as well across the board. But I mean, ultimately, everything's been going the way of Dignitas right now. I mean, we said that we really only saw one full buy coming from Big. That one was their shot at it once again, and Dignitas were in full control. They didn't even lose a single player, so it looked phenomenal from them. Oh wait, did they lose one? Yeah,
they lost one. But
okay.
that's still fine, because they've built the economy up at this point in time. The round before that, they only lost 2, so Kroman's got 94. 72 for Tensky, Rubino on 5. They're all good, Harry. Now they'll push Kiev up, but this time pistol only. Try and catch them off. It's worked. Flash over as well. He nearly gets away with more than that. But Fox is there behind the box. Little did he know. Jacob's now going to try and take the same angle, but Fox with the AWP wins out again. Twice for him, and it's all on to Legia.
Yeah, life expectancy extremely short, though, if you are a big player right now. As Dignitas going to pick themselves up a 6th over on the T side of Mirage. This is their map pick, let's not forget, and you can kind of see why. I mean, I'd say they've looked in full control in every single round, bar the pistol, and then, you know, the 2 rounds that follow. As a big, I mean, it was all on their plate to try and carry those ones through. The buy coming in once again from Big over on this CT side. Kiev going to have the AWP, not taking it to middle once again. Instead, turning his attention over here to ramp. 4 players for Dignitas going to reside in this area, and Kiev, the man who could put a stop to all this madness once and for all, will be tagged on down to 15 HP, trying to hold off CT and this A bomb site, buying time for the rotates to come in. Leggy is going to be the first man on the scene as the rest of the players now making their way into the site. Taps and the first to fall from Rubino flanking in on mid. Bomb goes down and 2 players, actually going to be denied by GodB on that chance peek over the top. Doesn't get punished for it, and now Jacob, the man trying to task, would pick that bomb back up. Going to be finding this difficult. Smoke starts to dissipate. Suddenly in the danger zone as GodB picks him up, no problem. Rubino and Fox all that remain, and Fox, the only player within the site, has a tall order ahead of him.
Good play GodB to identify the fact that he can get over top. Smoke's gone. Getting some kills toward A main before they can execute, before they're into the site comfortably. So being assertive before the smokes from the big side, and they've got the bomb locked down. They'll convert this round. They need to keep everyone alive, though. They're all on 3 digits of money, so Kiev, even though he has an AWP, has to concede the fact that he can't really peek in this. So sit back, hold the angle from CT, make sure you can't cross to the bomb. That's what he's going to do. It's up to GodB and Legia to figure out where Rubino is, and he's definitely shown face this time. They peek out. Good play. Legia does it, so discipline to close it, bring it back. Their first round since winning the 3 after the pistol ends a 6th-round spread from Dignitas. There's still plenty of money. In fact, another round after this where in which Dignitas will be able to buy. So by the time Big even whittle down the economy, they could be up to a 3-round bonus. You got a bomb plant on that, you just keep going. Money's very good for Dignitas in that sense.
Dignitas once again over towards mid. This time not so fast out over at ramp. Instead, it's going to be just shooting in through middle. Smoke is down to cover them off from window. Tabson trying to spot what he can over in Connector, and Croman sneaks on by. He's allowed to cross to down beneath the window. Doesn't have anyone to boost up. Instead, just going to be holding the angle. 3 players with Dignitas over in mid. Mid right now, the only player who can actually do anything about that is Tabson. They'll be smoked off. Dignitas turn their attention up towards short now. They could split in towards B, and that looks to be the decision that has been made.
Tabson's going to get underneath of the east stairs. It's GodB that works into the corner, but Jacob gets him through the smoke. No one able to respond. No flashes out from Nex. He's surrounded. He has to go both directions, and he will be found by Jacob. Down to 39 HP, though he is still alive and well on the site with the bomb being planted. Both other players locked off toward Checker. Kiev on the AWP facing a absolutely massive reset for them because Kiev's got 3 grand. If he saves the AWP, they won't be too bad off in terms of building into the round after the next, but they're almost in double eco territory at this point in time because they're about to get 1900 here. If they force even the littlest bit, they won't be able to buy the round after. So this is going to be very, very grim for Big. Great start to the game from Dignitas. There we go.
Yeah,
let's combine them
Dignitas.
both. We got Skadoodle. Okay, Skadoodle, and I think we had another mix-up once. Henry would be able to remind me. But they can play for Dignitas. We'll just combine everything. I'm a genius. 76ers, call me. I got another investment for you.
There you go, phenomenal stuff. Caster, car racer, and investment extraordinaire, apparently.
Yeah, you can't really be successful in three things, so obviously I'm going to make them very broke, but it's fine.
Well, anyways,
Arguably not successful in any of those.
well, I don't know. Two of 3, 1 of 3, somewhere around there. But yeah, speaking of being broke, Big, they're going to fall into that category. They actually elect to force buy up into this round. Dignitas trying to spread out early on, grab map control, trying to maintain it, just playing their default. Don't want to fall prey to this force buy from Big. Tabson trying to spot out Jacob, and actually thinks it's clear. Jacob working on buy, just missing the timing on those jump peaks. Now Kiev with the AWP up on short. Wants to try and find the equalizer, not going to present itself. In fact, another player just goes running into the waiting gun of Jacob to give him a second. That man advantage just pulling ahead for Dignitas, and now it's their round to win. Turn their sights over here towards 8. Jacob's still in lower tunnels, haven't been able to deal with him. A thorn in their side, the rotate about to come through. Kiev's attention firmly fixated on lowers. Should be able to get the trade, but no, there's no stopping Jacob. He's going to get a third.
Oh, GodB nearly looked into the corner expecting a flash. And Rubino walks into him. If he was even a few steps behind that, he may have been saved by Nex walking. Rather, excuse me. There's Rubino walking in from A main, but next going to walk back over from B. Just the SMG. Sad times ahead. As they, again, will only get, and I said, excuse me, that it was going to be the 1900. Now it will be 1900 this time. So I was one back on that. So they were definitely double eco. I had my math wrong, Harry. Don't do math live on stream.
I know, yeah. I've actually learned that a lot.
Let me just pull out a calculator. 2 plus 2 is 3.5. Divided by 3.141596. Something along those lines.
Yeah, that was... I don't even know what maths that was for.
Yeah, that's not for anything.
Oh, okay, that's just
don't follow along at home.
Okay. It's like our own version of Countdown. There's a maths version of that, right?
I don't know what you're talking about. Is that a British thing?
Yeah, that is
you can't
actually
make
a very
British
British
references
thing.
to more.
I always forget, yeah.
It's just not a thing.
I don't know. The Canadian version's, I think it's called Uwe. That's it.
Never heard of that either, so.
Well, there you go. Anyway, here we go. Dignitas 4 rounds ahead. Fox charges out. Actually, it's Jake to be tagged down in mid with the scout, and there's a player rushing up by him next in the smoke with the UMP. Turning back and forth, finding heads in the process. Going to go ahead and take himself too. Tensky's been allowed to sneak out on towards the B-bomb site. Punisher's got B just for his existence, really. And now looking to try and rotate on round with the bomb. Tensky has to try and lock this site down. Players already rotating in. Catches Keeve looking the wrong way after he stands in the Molotov for a little too long. Rubino still putting in work as Leggy was up on the flank. It's Nex who can make all the difference here. Takes one, but Rubino, the trade king, goes ahead and gets a second. In return, now it's just Tabson. Does have that stolen AK from mid to try and close out this 1v2. If there's anyone you'd want in this scenario, it's him. Yeah, well, you say that. Not when Tensky has a gun.
He's been consistent. That is one thing I will say about Tensky. I was very critical of him on Inferno about being a little bit too passive on the CT side. The one thing you can say about him is that he's stable, and every team has to have sort of that personality, that role that's willing to sit back, you know. Zipix was doing it on the old Dust 2 style. He's kind of stepped into a more of a clutching role as of late. But he was always kind of the rock that was in position. If someone made a mistake, he'd fill in the gap for TSM days on Dust 2 for their lineup when they had Kijin B in the op, obviously. You get different players in different situations that do that. And if he starts to be utilized correctly by Rubino, he's the perfect person to do it for this team. I don't want to use the term support role because that's a very operative word, and I think it's a buzzword for a lot of people, especially in CS, but it is sort of that situation. But it's B this time, and again, they're going to double up Cat, which means almost a retake style B when they have to turn back to watch the apartments, and they've already made contact, but yet they will continue to hold on the same position and style they want to do so because they haven't spotted anyone mid. So it's not like they're going to be splitting. They can afford to sit on Catwalk. Now they'll get more information as they've had to rotate back over toward A. And Keeve getting the opening pick is going to divide the offense quite a bit. So this is almost desperate in that they're going to send a lurk from Tensky to try and hold rotations and try and get into the A site.
Yeah, Dignitas just looking disjointed at this point, in this round at least. A little undecided as to how to approach this. They might be able to go ahead and pick up the bomb, which they will. Rubino going to get tagged in the process. Isn't looking too healthy. Oh, okay, Keeve's not done just yet. Picking away at the bones of Dignitas. Fox and Tensky all that remain. They learn that Tensky is on the lurk. There's 35 seconds left. Bomb isn't there anymore, and this could feign some rotations out, but not while Keeve stands firm. He's going to go ahead and get a fourth, looking for the ace. But Tabson steals it away. Can't have anyone ever do better than him.
He's sick.
Yeah.
He's impressed me like crazy as of late. In the relegation matches, he just dominated everyone. It was literally the Tabson show. We could have just watched it on him. What was the event right before relegation? DreamHack Tour? Were they at DreamHack Tour? I think it was. And he was just dominant every single game for them.
No, wait, no, it might have been the Mountain Dew League Land Finals?
Yeah, exactly
there
that. You're right. Yeah, Mountain Dew League Pro Finals. Or Premier Finals, World Finals, Global Finals.
Global Challenge.
There it is.
There you go.
Yeah, he was
I was
awesome
there. I should have known.
Tabson's going to get aggressive this time with a nade out, but they've got good pressure on mid without actually relying on window with the aggression that they're putting on Catwalk. So they are getting information. Smoke to connector, but none on window this time. Fox trying to get a pick on it instead, but he's playing inside boxes, so he has the shorter angle. But again, it's mid pressure from Dignitas, who have yet to be broken in all of these rounds. So the economy was just so perfect from them throughout. We hit round 15. They have a chance to find 10 rounds guns on either side, but good play from Tabson. Bob down on top of the Catwalk as well. which means they have to commit to going back to it, and they can continue to put pressure on middle to make that more awkward for Dignitas.
And actually, Dabs going to go and take the fight to them. Finds the first. Jacob's able to trade that one back, but it's still a 2-for-1 down in mid. Tensky in the meantime. Look at this. This is promising. Gobby going to be here. There's 3 players actually for Big inside the B bomb site. So saying it's promising, not really. Tensky's been allowed to sneak on by. That could be the difference maker, but Gobby pouncing on out. Now leaves this all on Jacob. 1v3. Bomb in hand. And they didn't actually spot Next out inside of B, so for all they know, it is just Gobby here alone. I don't think they would expect a 3-man stack. If Next takes the peak, this could hand the advantage back over. Jacob? No. Okay, gonna go down on that peak. The timing could not have been worse there. He just looks away at the exact wrong second, and that is Big to go ahead and win out that last round of the half. 9-6, Dignitas still in the driving seat, but a pistol round it could bring Big back to the equalizer.
Definitely could, but it's T-side. We'll see if they can get things rolling. I'm impressed by Dignitas. I mean, everything went right for them, let's be honest. They get 2 kills that are pretty important. Round 2 forces a bit of reinvestment. Then they get 3 kills, keeps them honest. They go into the first gun round. Keith spends all 7 grand to bring out an AWP. And they whittled away at the economy in such a way that they were able to build it up so quickly on their side. It's almost as good as it could have gotten. That half was about as easy as you'd like in terms of how closely contested some of the gun rounds actually were when Big was able to afford them. So they put themselves in a really good position, but as you say, Big can almost pull back with his pistol. It's going to be 2 smokes for them as well with no armor. Smokes for both Legia and Gobby, who are both inside of the B courtyard, and they're going to throw fake smokes out toward A. So they've actually gone for one that lands at the top of the connector all the way through. Lex used to throw that in North America. He's failed it, though. It's landed on top of connector, so they know that had to have come from B. The second one goes to window. It's a pixel smoke. You have to land perfectly. That does. But that also signifies that they're going to be over toward B. So if they've spotted where those smokes come from, this is going to be a rotation for Dignitas. They're a little bit late on it, though. So Fox is on his own in the site, takes down Legia to start it off, but it's got to be quicker than that. If they spotted them at all, they would have had the read as Tapson gets in the site. Bomb has a chance to go down. Tensky's going to go for a flank, but they've already lost Jacob.
Yeah, 2v4 in the retake, and Croman is attention fixated on the potential there could be a player in the backline. Tensky trying to do what he can from apps, but it's Croman to finish him off. Gobby instantaneous on the trade, leaving this on Tensky in the 1 versus 3, the trifecta of death, as he looks to try and push on. Okay.
It's Henry's way.
Yeah, that's fine. Goes out and gets 1. Still got 2 more left to find. Now it's just kind of a line, but doing all they can. Tensky on the way in, gets a bit overzealous and taps to finish him off. The 3K from him, and I have to agree with you there. Dignitas, the signs, the writing was on the wall, and they just neglected the ability to retake earlier.
Yeah, Big was quite lucky with that, because that smoke from Gobby, it is the right time to use it. I've seen teams try and utilize it where they smoke the top of connector and then run down in the underpass to come up in middle, and what it does is it forces the player in connector to back off completely so you can get up catwalk and support the mid-take, get more likely to get a boost toward window, or it forces them out on the inside of it where they have to engage in a fight. I've always thought that it was good for a fake, and I love the idea and the concept of trying to use it in a pistol round, but missing it, if I look up and I see that smoke coming from mid to go jungle, that smoke only ever comes from A main or B, typically. So I would instantly be like, yeah, boys, that's thrown from B courtyard. And yet they were a little bit late on the rotation, so Big gets away with it. Time to capitalize. Go for rifles again. AK as well brought up from Tapson. Good shot from Tensky.
Yeah, there's going to be the man advantage here for Big. Currently trapped over in connector, though, a victim of their own doing, as that smoke only just starting to dissipate. Now looking to try and make their way on back up towards top mid. They've left Next behind. Fox actually going to start pushing up through short. Could spot this out and find them that equalizer. Turn this back into the 3-on-3. It's pivotal that Next doesn't go down here, and actually this couldn't be more perfect for Big. The players rotating off of mid, going to turn their attention instead towards B. They only leave Croman here. It's going to effectively be a 1v4 inside the site. And quite frankly, I do not fare Croman's odd too highly. Tensky actually going to rotate back round. Looking to take up position in CT. A lot of work to do, Croman. Here's the players rotating in. There's only a couple of 30 seconds left. Trying to hold the angle. Looks on up at the wrong time. Taps no open. And now it's Tensky in CT. Looking to try and prevent this bomb plant. Does find damage. Leggy going to go in for the peek. A hop, skip, and a jump. Gets that kill with the up. Fox from short. Trying to rain death in with the D. Does get himself 1. But he's still got a lot of work to do. Bomb planted. He's just going to opt to fall on back and save.
Trying to see where and what is available. So he's got to save. There's no guns anywhere nearby. They don't really need to chase him down here, but Gobby seems like he wants to sort out exactly where he is. It should just end with him on the Deagle. So another good round for Big to get inside of the site. They lose the SMGs, and that's about it. But Plant going in, Dignitas forcing into this. They'll sit back more patiently in the next. Then Big should, as you say, be able to tie it up really early.
Terrorists win.
Question is, how aggressive do they want to reinvest on Kyiv and Nex? Because they've already got one SMG. I think Galil. Yeah, that's the better call. Let Tabson throw over an AK and bring another one out, because they can't really afford to go full into the AKs. And if they bring out more SMGs, then they're pretty much forced onto a bonus round without really the economy to get away with it. They'd have to be really efficient in this round, or reinvesting it broken right away, which is effectively the problem they had in the first round, was an overinvestment and too much reinvestment early on. So good call to drop that and leave Kyiv on a pistol. Wants to get the op out immediately.
In mid, Big gonna have a fairly significant foothold here. 4 players leaving Kyiv over in Palace. He's the player with armor in that CZ. Could go down here. Going to be a little bit costly if he does, but not the end of the world. Everyone else now rotating in through T-Spawn. 4 players here for Dignitas. It's going to be a stack that Big are looking to walk into. Going to leave Legia all the way back by T-Spawn over towards B. Now looking to try and flank around through mid-late. Kyiv to open us up. Tensky goes down. Actually damage being done on the tabs, and Jacob able to find one. Tries to get a little bit more bang for his buck, but does go down in the process, and now it's just Fox. Oh, okay. Goes out and gets one out on a Kyiv. Takes his head clean off. Still trying to make this costly. Only has 20 HP. Rerouting round to CT. Bomb. Gonna get planted. It's gonna be within the smoke, so...
It ultimately doesn't even matter that Fox gets Kyiv, because he got 2 kills on the entry, and he saved none of the pistols, so he's going to be in a perfect spot to buy out the AWP. That was the goal. Rest of it was pretty straightforward. They pull back aggressively and take over the site against the pistols in straightforward fashion. That's a little more interesting, because now Fox is going to get down the second AK. They're not going to be able to get to that. So he actually has hurt them a little bit in the economy in the same way we touched on.
And well, they do manage to get the AWP up on Fox. Good bit of utility as well up on the CT side. Don't have anyone on a kit. Doesn't mean they can't really afford to let that bomb go down. AWP board up for Kyiv, as you pointed out. Made more than enough money to go ahead and invest into that one.
Legia actually dropped it to him, which is even better as well, because it leaves him on 3950. So even if they were to lose this round, he's going to get the 1400. They could ultimately go glass cannon in the next if they wanted to. Not that I would recommend it, because the rest of them wouldn't be able to force, but I've seen stranger things.
Me too. It was
It's going to leave
series.
him in a good position moving forward, though.
Actually, holding the angle over a B. Both the AWP players actually going to tag each other down. Has made Kyiv rail on back. Ultimately, probably going to be a little bit worse there for Big in that scenario. They have to give up control of apps and turn their attention instead over towards mid, where they have got 3 players. Tabson pushing on down. Gonna start clearing out connector. There's actually 2 players on A for Dignitas. Jacob in window is smoked off. They're gonna be pushing out through connector, looking to try and go for the split. The push comes on in. Got B to find one.
Fox gets 2 back with the AWP. He's been the best on the CT side by a mile for Dignitas, as Rubino's going to get Tabson trying to overcommit to a push to hold off CT. Good news is he gets information for them in the post plant. Tells Nex that he's got lots of time to get back toward, and in fact, sandwich, so not even a main. Play a much tighter angle with a Molotov to hold them off. Fox still low in the window, has Kyiv getting ever closer with an AWP. He wants to play in connector, but bomb is planted safe side. We're up toward the double box. So fortunately the kill's coming now, because if it came down to Fox, he'd have to push through. Kyiv's going to do all the work himself. It goes 10-9 for Big. I have to criticize the setup. So they get mid-control. You leave Fox inside of the window. No one rotates, therefore, back toward jungle, so they're easily able to walk up connector. And instead of Kroman trying to play a passive angle, either on top of Ticket Booth or back inside of the site, he goes out in the open behind triple stack and immediately has nowhere to go. Because as soon as they walk in from A main, he's visible. As soon as they walk in from connector, he's going to back into them, and he just walked into his own crossfire. It was a really poor design by him to be sitting in the open in that case. Even if they're not going to rotate that, at least play an angle so that you can control that situation.
Jacob able to find one. Like, yep. Coming on in to try and help out, and he will do so. Going to be able to trade that out with the UMP. Damage done there for Jacob. Making their way on towards mid now. Are going to be 3 players here. Pushing on through. Kiev with the AWP. Trying to clear these long angles. Noah from Dignitas wanting to try and face, but there is Tensky who could. Looking on into connector. Going to make the decision to be gone out and pays for that with his life. Kiev picks that one up. Now 2 players inside this B-bomb site. The more stacked of the 2. A lengthy rotate coming in from Croman, and they're desperately trying to boost up Fox, which they will be able to get away with. Trying to play the bait and switch. Rubino makes things costly, gets himself one. Ain't gonna fall. They haven't actually checked the boost, but Fox maybe firing off too early is gonna go down. Now it's just Croman. 1v3 on the flank. Legia suspects this does turn his attention back. Damage being done though. Croman has the chance to make this that much more costly, but Legia just falls back into the corner, waits for Nex to make his way up on towards Van, and then they have that crossfire set up. Very smart play there from Big to maintain that rifle on Legia.
So double op setup. I was going to say they've got the money to do it, and I want to see something aggressive from Dignitas. This is actually just as good. Double op Mirage. You can split this up, try and get a mid pick. CT spawn. But I wouldn't be surprised if you just say to Fox, go. Get somewhere, get aggressive, and find us an early pick. He's actually going to head toward B, and he's going to go to the apartments. I imagine... Okay, I take it back, so okay. I thought he was going to go quick and try and push up to get information, because the problem is they're already on the A side. He could actually be in a good position to get that information early and force the rotation back over, but good exchange anyway. Jacob's able to win out inside middle. They still have control of connector with Tensky and Jacob on a crossfire, but no one's inside of the A site. Even though there's a plant, they have to be cautious of the fact that Tabson can strike at any time. Rubino spots him. That's the information gathered, but Tabson, he's able to make this so costly. They lose both players in the crossfire because everyone's looking that direction. And at that point, they sat around a little bit too long inside of connector rather than watching inside of the site to see where Gob would go.
Now it's all Fox. 1v3, trapped in CT. Just looking to try and hold on to the AWP. And I mean, looking into mid there, I was going to say there's no way that Tabson survived this. 2 players in connector, both fixated on that smoke. Even the player up in window, but none of that seems to matter to Tabson. Oh no, Fox loses the AWP as well to Kiev. But I mean, amazing stuff there from Tabs to mid. The attention taken off of him as well, which allowed him then to net that first frag out and then focused onto the second. Player in connector actually ran out of ammo, which was a bit of a shame. Switching out of the USP does go down, but it's still phenomenal stuff from him. He is just so impressive.
Yeah, Fox losing the AWP at the end, yeah. You can tell he's getting frustrated. He's been alive late so many times. And it's frustrating for him because he's not winning any of these clutches, but they're ultimately not his fault. He's been thrown in the deep in this half so far. Kiev takes out Tensky really early. Back to the pistols again. This is going to be 7 rounds in a row for Big. Dignitas have thrown away a massive gift that they were given by economic and control and winning out most of the gun rounds in the first half.
Into this one. Rubino up close on ramp. Has to be careful because Nex is here. Holding the angle. Players rotating in through T-spawn to Big. Looking like they're going to try and make their way out towards A. Legia left on the lurk. Nex. Looking to try be this first man in the entry. Has got Godby there to try and flash him in. And actually, Jacob about to push up in towards Palace. Does net them some ground. Might be able to get this frag on a Tabson, spots him out, but no. Tabson executes the lone Dignitas player. Rubino left within the site to try and hold back the tide of Germans that come funneling his way. Rubino able to get 1, trying to get 2, runs out of ammo with the CZ. Croman, actually decent damage done here by both Fox and Croman. The lurk player goes down. They've got themselves a little bit to work with, but Kiev looking to try and put this one to bed. Drops him out, leaving this on Fox. Gets the revenge onto Kiev. Now it's just got beat into the one-on-one that never should have been. Fox, we've seen him be frustrated about losing that last clutch, and this time, can't imagine how he's going to be feeling. Godby peeks over the top of the boxes and finds the head. 13-9 now in favor of Big.
Don't mind Fox going for that. They've got enough money to buy into this round, but this is timeout territory, so they're going to take one. Smart call. they've got to find the first pick. They haven't had any first picks on the CT side. Every time that it looks like, okay, maybe they're doing something right here, they get Fox and double up set up, maybe they can get aggressive, they just aren't doing it. They aren't being assertive. Only time we've seen actually, we haven't seen any pushes. I think back it was Keeve the last time we saw a push when he was on the CT side toward mid with the pistols, so. Yeah, change it up. Get someone in toward Palace. Get someone at least close to A main so they can get a closer read. I'm kind of glad they don't go back to the double up setup, because if you're not going to send one of them to be aggressive, then what's the point in picking it up on Mirage? Especially where there's so many utilities that isolate players. If you don't get picks early and you're going to rotate with an AWP for a retake, that's not going to work. So V and Kiev fast enough up toward the kitchen inside of the apartments. Rubino the only one over here. This time they do go a little bit more aggressive in toward Palace and A main, which I like, but they still aren't getting much information off of this. Because Tensky and Jacob aren't confident to peek out in middle, which means they can't see if anyone's top. Croman's backed off. Fox is holding at Palace. Thankfully, for whatever reason, they're going to rotate back around, because they themselves can't exactly get a read to what Dignitas is up to. But if they'd hit B at that point, that would have been... I'd call a save immediately from the CTs in that case, because they're not going to get over there and retake back into the situation where they're going to have a post plant potentially with 4 or 5 players alive. A run boost, top mid. Bait out any shots. Didn't nail it. I think he clipped the wall on the way by. Did. Got B, but they still get mid control, so it's going to be a brawl again to a crossfire inside of connector. Last time they had this crossfire, they lost to inside of A, but they don't have that control this time on the big side. Tensky starts it, and they fall off of it. Don't mind that at all, because they'll isolate them entirely to mid.
Yeah, 3 players here for big. Restricted as a result of losing Kiev. Now wrapping up through short. Rubino alone in B, pushing in towards the site here. The bomb actually wrapped back around as well. Players coming in from Apsor with a rotate coming on through, and Rubino raining on death. The site still has work left to do. Is Jacob now making it through, trying to pull this one back. Is able to get himself one. Keeps that man advantage up. Bomb plant going to be coming in. Next to Tabson within the site. 2 players knocking on their door, with a third making his way up short in the form of Fox. That's the AWP. Could be the difference maker. Pop flash themselves out. Doesn't yield any results just yet. Fox now peeking in from short. Bomb timer ticking away. They want to try and be fast here. And as Fox finds Tabson, now they come crashing on in. Next goes down.
Much better.
Defuse going to come in for Dignitas as they now reach double digits themselves.
Much, much better from Dignitas. Again, there was a chance for a moment they could have attacked B and really foiled the plans, but I like that, again, they got aggressive, they got information, they got Fox inside of Palace. As soon as they isolate them in mid, they get 1 kill, fall off it, don't overcommit to the duels, because they've been losing those time and time again on the CT side. Tensky holds window, has to do that, knows they're in middle. If they get up in window at that point in time, they completely cut off any rotations to B. And then Jacob reads that he's the one that has to rotate from CT spawn, goes all the way around. Even though they give up a bomb plant, it's fine. Gives them a little bit more money for the buy on this time, but so what? Dignitas just needs rounds at this point in time. Play it safe. And Rubino did exactly that in the site to stay alive. This time, though, back to an AWP, a single AWP, but they go through the smoke. That cuts off Croman. The aggression is going to be Fox trying to fire back through smoke on on Catwalk, but he's completely smoked off, and they've got to concede the inner parts of the site, allow the plant. This is going to be a really good post setup as next gets Tensky. He didn't need to go down. He needed to stay alive in it. Look at the amount of smokes at the top of connector.
Yeah, that nade actually able to find one, though. That's their equalizer. Tabson going to fall from the peek out from Rubino. That was the key to opening this one up. The 1 player left actually exerting pressure inside the site. 2 players now over towards ramp. Smoke goes in. Defuse should be following, but no, for a start, trying to deal with the players on ramp. Got B here as well. Will they suspect the 2nd player being hit? Jacob. Peek has to come in quickly. Got B, just letting the timer tick away. Doesn't hear the defuse, takes the peek on out, but he's sticking it, and Fox, no kit, still gets it, pivots around, and then drops out God B with the AWP. Fantastic stuff there from Dignitas in that retake, and almost feel a little bit bad for God B. Felt like he did somewhat deserve it, but, you know, didn't hear that defuse coming in, and it was a full 10 seconds.
I mean, I think he played it well enough in the fact that he was far away. Whether he didn't hear it or not, he almost gave himself a chance. The problem is that he had to stop up for the duel. If he'd shot into the smoke and killed Fox, that was it, because there was no kit in play. But overall, aside from that interesting moment, which was very situational, look at the start of the round. Again, Dignitas, they give up a site, but they play it as a system. Tensky did go down a little bit early to Nex, but the rest sat back. They all seem to be on the same page. They understand that if they're going to get aggressive in middle, they need to play a little more passive at A. Croman, a little bit caught off by that. But the retake was excellent. Once more, everybody working together. Flash is going in. Timing's looking way better than it was at the start of this half. And doubling up again, it's going to be Fox on the AWP in mid with Tensky holding the connector. The interesting issue with this is that Jacob's still on window. He can actually back off of this. He doesn't need to be there. The only reason he is to make sure that underpass is covered off, so he's putting out utility to do so. I want to see him rotate as soon as, yeah, good. This is the right call. He's supported Fox as much as he needs to. Get toward the A site where you're ultimately playing retake unless, for whatever reason, Big just wants to bleed them out and they can try and get more aggressive.
Gobi, that'll spot the player out in CT. Now the push comes through from Big, looking to try and isolate this site. Smokes actually not down for CT, so they're just going to go ahead and plant in that one solitary smoke on the site, planted for Tabson from behind, able to go ahead and find one. Fox does trade that out, eliminates the thorn in their side. Gobi from within the site doing some damage, turns the man advantage back on its head, and Big looking to be in the driving seat this round. It's coming up Keeve. He gets himself one. The UMP raining death in from Legia, and now it's all Rubino fighting for his life. Big circling around him like vultures to a corpse, and that is them one round away from map point. A massive performance from Keeve and Tabson right now.
Big kill from Gabi to take out Fox on the retake as well, because that limited them. They didn't have any control of anywhere other than CT. And that breaks the economy back down after only 2 rounds, both of which came to defuses. So passive retake doesn't work on A. They lose the exchanges despite having everyone still up from middle, and a rotate from Jacob, which looked favorable. But a very good execution from Big. Get the bomb down early, already had the positions locked off, and they had so much smoke out as well. They still had 2 smokes to use on jungle, which they did after the plant. Pistol's aggressive at A main, but therefore no one inside of mid, so Tabson and Gabi are going to work up together in that position. And they'll play this slow. They'll try and figure out exactly where they are, figure out exactly what the economic situation is, and pull them apart one by one. Tabson, make sure no one's pushed into the underpass.
This aggression from Fox, something that could lead to this B site falling down, as he is here alone, very far forward. He falls, no one could possibly dream about trading that out. Especially as Big now turn their attention to pushing up short. This B-bomb site looking like it could go the way of Big. Fox has to come up huge. The Molotov's trying to burn him out. Gets a little bit hot under the collar, and in the meantime, Big, they've actually snuck up in towards Connector. The players in the site, Chrome are going to go down. The rest all rotated out of position. Jacob could be the linchpin, though. Over towards Connector. Rubino doing some work with the CZ. Peeking out, takes a second. He's not done just yet. Stalishi flicking back and forth. Legia trying to trade things back, but he's still a huge threat to these guys. He's going to go ahead and take a third. Finally the need to finish him off, but it will be a 2-on-2 on the back of a fantastic play from Rubino. Jacob, and then the site spots out Taps and taps away. Bomb dropped out in the open, and Jacob to finish things off. The CZ reigns supreme as Dignitas now with a 12.
What a round from Rubino. To hold that off and get all of those kills, everyone funnels that direction, and the damage done as a result of it, I absolutely did not expect Jacob. You were right. In a gun round, if he's in toward T-spawn and they're going to give up A, they're not going to expect him to be on ramp.
Right.
But he only has the pistol, and everyone was in good health. They were running in toward it. Rubino rips them apart, and then Jacob's perfect. At that point, it's round done. Tensky knew it as well, because he goes back to watch vent, so if they go back toward B, they have to go through mid. Okay, great. At that point, you play a retake, but they had nowhere to go. They walk directly in, and Jacob peeks out, picks them both off. That was really well done. Rubino, he's a bit of a hero right now, because he's given them a fighting chance, and the money has chiseled away. As Big was 1 round from being broken, Dignitas missed the chance. Winning that round changes everything. They pulled over the op as well onto Fox for free, which they would not have afforded otherwise. So tactical call from Big this time.
Incredibly back and forth right now. Incredibly close as well. The buy, or partial buy at least, has come in from Big. They got the Catalyst rifle, and already that's down. Fox to open things up, dropped over in mid, no way of retrieving it. Instead, now going to turn their attention towards B. Fox is to help his teammate out within the site, and he will turn his attention round, focusing on him with the AWP. Bomb dropped in towards B, and that's it. It's all said and done.
You knew that was going to happen eventually, especially on pistols. Gabi just pushes through the cat smoke. Wishful thinking, but Fox has been playing catwalk pretty much every round for the last 6, especially when he has the AWP. And he easily catches him off, then he's perfectly positioned to hold off on apartments. So pretty straightforward round. Big not able to really do anything with pistols, but now that buy up, they're still not in a good position. It's going to be SMGs AK-47s going into what will be a 3rd round loss bonus with no bomb plant. They're going to be in a world of trouble and could easily end up playing for overtime by the time they're going to have a full buy again.
That's a worrying prospect for big Dignitas. They have the AWP on Fox, and it's going to be playing over towards short. Run boost in mid. No one there to actually see the spectacle that was that run boost, but we know it happened. Got beat. Close to connector. Gonna turn his attention over towards Rubino.
Oh, this is... So Tabs, I thought they were going to go for window boost. If they go window boost, they're actually in a perfect spot this time with the double up onto ladder. It allows Fox to back off, watch inside the B site. They're going to rifle it off instead and try and contain them, but they can't lose the duels. They've done that before to Tabs and him down to Jacob. He's got to get out of there. They're low on HP. They know he's there. Or do they? They go immediately by him? Oh, watch. If he pushes through at this point, it's going to be perfect. The back exposed. Somehow Jacob gets caught. That should have been a kill all month. And Legia is able to turn around and find him. So this is a lifeline.
I mean, really, they have to save the AWP in this scenario. You can look at it and, you know, Fox does damage. There is no money for big. So, I mean, even buying into the next round is a little bit difficult if they lose one more player. But the extra money on Legia kind of compensates for that. If he doesn't save the AWP, then they could get one, but it would mean sacrificing a buy-up on one of the other players. So it would be less firepower, less utility into that last round of the half. You'd also see Croman left with no armor. Would be a huge problem. So Fox has to hold on to it. And big, they don't want to risk going hunting for the reasons I said. If he finds a couple and still holds onto the AWP, that would be terrible for them. Big going to arrive at map point on the map pick of Dignitas. 15 to 13. It has been a struggle, but they are the first team there. One round now between them and winning out this first map.
So massive. Dignitas, yeah, undoubtedly timeout call. Jacob got so lucky they walked by him in that smoke, doubling up, baits off his teammate, and then Jacob snaps around and nails him with the UMP. So Fox has the AWP again, but so too will Kiev. They've got excellent utility, so everything about that mention we made of the economy gone based on the last, and it's overtime play for Dignitas. They're going to be gutted if they lose this as well, especially because it took them so long to adjust on the CT side to start to control and dictate the pace. 7 rounds in a row they gave up. Fox's adjustment as well from originally starting out toward the A site where he was getting nothing and window being locked off to go to B has been better, but this time he is going to go back toward A. Better spawn for it, and I think, yeah, he's going to go Palace. So they'll get aggressive on mid. Fox actually wants to hold A main to make sure they don't rush in, which is a reasonable call considering with 3 players in mid. This is going to be a face-off immediately jumping through. Croman's got the first angle, but he's down below. Tensky's got to hit the shot above. Manages to do so. Fox actually chimes into all 4 of them in mid. It's one way to shut down what Big has been going for, but they'll retake onto B with 2 players only to shut them down as next plants bomb.
Kiev holding short, misses that first shot. That could have been a real gap closer. Players for Dignitas rotating around. Smoke does go down. Buys precious time here for Big. Keeping Dignitas on their toes, keeping them on the clock. One player rotating in through shop and actually scopes her. Next jumps for no apparent reason, misses that shot, and now things get bad. Kiev able to find one. Still lots of work left to do, and Tensky could be the difference maker coming in from shop. Kiev, he's on 3, but finally Tensky deals with it.
Just one at a time. There's no need for that. That makes it so much closer than it has to be, but Dignitas pick up the round, an all-important round. So they'll get the defuse from Tensky, and they play all 30 rounds in map 1. Kiev with 3 kills, though. Should not have happened. There was no need. They've been actually pretty good on the retakes in most cases. They've been quite disciplined, but guns ablaze yet again. SMG's bought out. Kiev goes immediately back onto the AWP for obvious reasons. Next limited to only a Tech 9. It's both teams roping together whatever they can with the money left over. So a proper CSGO brawl. Every gun viable. All the OP weapons, Tech 9s, UMPs. Starts off with Jacob in for one, down on the other. Croman this time does win out on the A site, but it's traded back, thankfully. Croman's going to step up. Finally, he gets kills by being aggressive in the mid part of the site. He's been caught out a few times this round. All important. He's going to be successful.
Yeah, got beat. Next man to fall. It all falls onto the shoulders of Kiev. Got himself a 3K in the previous, has to do it yet again, and this time burning in the fire and flames. Overtime secured for Dignitas. as they go ahead and win out that last round. We will be seeing OT on the first map. Incredibly close affair. I mean, right now, Dignitas, they're looking good. I think Big have shown a formidable performance as well. It's Legia who's kind of falling a little bit silent and is proving to be someone, not kind of saying he's holding them back, but he's definitely not pulling his own weight when you look at kind of everyone else.
Interesting lack of utility certainly cost them in the last, but immediately into overtime. We go back onto similar weapons. AWP aside, no one going double off in overtime. Didn't work for Dignitas when they used it anyway, so no surprise. As a Molotov goes down early, and they're playing this double up position on Connector again as Fox has Catwalk covered off, but Rubino's got to get over to the van because they have no information as to what's going on in the apartment, so a late smoke's going to try and slow them down. Or Molotov, rather.
Trying to secure mid. Fox is there on short. Legia will be dropped. No attempt at refragging that. Now Fox turns his attention back over here towards Apps. Here's players up in there. Keep scoping in and out. Bomb is going to be on the back of Nex. Has to watch out because Scott pushing up through short. It's going to go unchecked for the time being. Players really should be able to cover this one. And the remaining two big guys turn their attention on it back round, looking to try and make their way out through mid, pushing in towards Connector. It's going to be Tapson. And Godby. Tapson's already been dropped out. Tensky wants to pick that up, tries to get more work done. Godby trades it out, but then it's going to fall to Rubino immediately up on short. Big 2v4, AWP on Kiev. Rifle for Nex. Trying to hit A.
Be slowed down in their attempt by Flames late. That'll cut off Kiev, who has the AWP. He wants the better angle from Palace. Flash over, thrown to the corner. Nex is able to spot it. They have to watch the op now. Kiev's on 11, but Jacob's ready for the counter peek from Nex. Good read. And Kiev's got to save the AWP. MR3, 10K. He's down to 3,100, so he'll sit back and make sure no one's going to push onto him. They could have easily done, but they won't. Time gone. Oh, even worse. He goes down now. Don't die. He's got to stay alive. Gone. No money. Overtime. That's a big issue. 3150 for Kiev. They've lost the op. They've lost the first round. Big win from Dignitas. And that round actually started. Not only did they get the first pick from Fox, who again on Catwalk's able to open it up, a really, really good reset from their positioning as soon as they did. Jacob goes off of middle. They were doubling up on Connector again in case Fox couldn't find the pick. Immediately rotates back into B, gives Rubino the support to shut them down. Tensky stays to watch Connector, and Fox is in a position to swing. It's really, really good and dynamic from Dignitas. And Big could not find any way through.
I mean, as a result of losing the AWP on Kiev there, it's had to have been dropped over. They can afford to buy up into this one, but winning this round out now is pivotal. And even then, I mean, they have to try and keep a couple of players alive. They can't afford to lose the AWP, for example. We'll be able to get one into the next round. And if they lose this now, they'll have no money left heading into the next. So this one is pivotal for Big. Already Kiev out mid with the AWP, trying to spot one down. No one going to be there. It's Kroman and Tensky. Actually going to be going aggressive over there towards ramp. Fox checking mid. One player has actually pushed on down. That's Tapson. A second, but his head spotted. Tagged down low. It's got B. Nex already making his way out over towards ramp. Dispatching and pushing up players. Tapson out through Connector like a speed demon, putting down the hurt. Falling on back. Rubino trying to trade this one out. Will be spotted over on stairs. The man advantage secured. He's going to be chipped away at, trying his best to fight for his life, but Legia pivoting round drops him out the equation. And now it's Kroman on this A bomb site alone. Has to buy time. Has to try and at least get two. Able to go ahead and drop out to Absent. Still more left to find. Players coming around. Now they know his location, and Legia the one to pick that up. It's all on Fox. 1v3. A round that Big had to win, and now they're in the driver's seat, poised to do so.
Fox is again in another situation where he's rotated back over. They lose Connector. They lose a site. Gia, who's been quiet throughout the course of the game, stepping up, getting 2 kills on entry. It's Fox. Knowing they're in there, they'll be able to buy in the next round in this situation. Having won the first one. Doesn't fancy it, actually. Takes one out, misses the shot. Gobby's able to take him down. 16-16. Great recovery from Big.
Yeah, and they will be stealing one straight back. That was essential if they wanted to buy up into this, and now they've got enough money to do so. So both teams with a buy. Croman actually fairly limited in terms of his utility. Only 2 kits in play. They have still got that AWP up on Fox, and that has been pivotal. The AWP actually for both teams worth its weight in gold. And big this time. They're going to try and play off spawns. Keeve gets here. Fox is going to be up against him. The pop flash comes on out, and as a result, nothing going to be coming off this AWP duel just yet. Next going to be the one to open things up. Down goes Fox. Legia chiming in with one more into Rubino from short. Tabson just flicking back and forth, drops out. Jacob trying to make their way towards window. Tensky does at least deal with one, but he's still got so much more to find out in mid, and Tabson just tapping away. Leaves this on Croman, 1v4. Knows there's a player in mid, does manage to deal with him, and now he's going to make his way in towards the site in a 1v3 and defuse that bomb. With Godby's positioning up on short, that's going to be made near on impossible. Smoke is down, players flanking in from all angles. They take the fight to Croman, and Croman will fall short. Big 17 to 16 in their advantage at the end of the first half of overtime.
Yeah, good recovery. All things considered in the overtime. They run down B that time, something they weren't actually doing a lot of in the first 15 rounds of their T side. Part of the reason was because they kept trying to take mid, and Fox was then there, slowing them off with either a kill or smokes toward the catwalk. That time they get out Rubino. Fox has to turn back. They can't do anything with it. Fast pace works, and the rotation's late to the party. It's the right call. It's a good call for the setup that they were running on the Dignitas side, so finally figuring that out, but we'll swap it over, and unlike what we saw from Dignitas, we immediately get a double up setup on the big CT side, so they'll go toward Gia to pick up the second one with Keeve. He's going to go catwalk. Doesn't go aggressive early. We saw from Fox. Jacob gets toward ladder room. That's a big position to have because he can control the rotations, whereas inside of the site, it's Gabi fighting off, and valiantly they pull it back. He should have gone down much sooner. The Flames will get him, but it's Tensky suddenly left alone. He's got space in the site, but he has no idea. And no one's in CT as of yet, and there's no smoke on connector. He's got to play passive.
Yeah, 1v2 does have the bomb. Has to be careful. Next, just waiting over at short leg here. In CT. Gonna go ahead and try to get this bomb down. Planting it. For ramp. Now looking just to try and fade away. Big. They're the ones on the clock. Have to make their way into the site first. Going to turn his attention to CT and actually looks away, but Legia misses that shot. That would have been pivotal for Big. Turning his attention to Next. Finds the first. Now it's just Legia. He knows exactly where he is. Fake flashes out. Doesn't have to face in this situation. Can just bide his time. That's going to heat things up, and Legia, when you need him to step up, he does. Goes ahead and gets Big the 18th. That is now them arriving at map point once again.
Smart to throw the Molotov because it nearly cost them the round that he missed the first shot. If he'd missed the first shot coming out of CT, Next hits a, or excuse me, Tensky. It's a brilliant shot over toward jungle, and then, yeah, that's pressure on. So really smart Molotov, gets him out, hits the shot, gets the defuse, and he's going to give the map point to start off on the big side, despite Tensky doing much better than I actually expected him to do in that situation because he's such a timid player, but there it is, Rubino getting run down again. Couple off, they go back to it. Fox flies into an AWP with no utility. They've got 4 smokes, one of which already deployed to cover off Catwalk.
For Dignitas, going to be turning their attention to mid, which is ambitious considering the double up setup out for Big, as Jacob just finds out he's tagged down low. The nade could be the slam dunk, but actually only does 6 damage, so he's allowed to live for the time being. Tabson does go aggressive, and that 1-for-1 trade really does not favor Big whatsoever. In fact, Dignitas going to benefit from that. They spot the bomb out in mid, but they can't do anything with this information. There's still a minute, 10 seconds left. Croman just waiting for his teammates to rotate on round.
Don't really like that from Tabson.
Yeah, I would have really liked to have just seen them accepted that they've done the damage to the guy in mid, leave it at that. They had the information.
He's oh, good shot, Fox. Godby did not have any clue, Fox. Dignitas in this. They bring the bomb over. It's Logia, though, in the second AWP. Another miss. Last time he made up for it. This time he will not. Next on the flank has 4 to go against. Slowly as well. He'll start his way in through with no utility toward Palace. There's the Croman's in toward A. Man can hear him.
Yeah, I mean, you're asking a lot of Nex at this point. 1v4. And this is the real downside of that double orb setup. It's so expensive, even though they went out that previous round losing this one, going to immediately see them with next to no money to invest into this next round. I think double overtime is looking very likely here in this first map. I'm going to be taken away. Next trying to charge in. Might be able to get the orb, but doesn't want to face off. He knows how important it is for him to keep this rifle into this scenario, and that is Dignitas in with the 17th. Actually, I end up losing the AWP there. The buy going to be coming back in from Big, but there's very little in terms of their economy. They get the AWP up on Kiev, but at the sacrifice of firepower on everyone else. They have utility up behind it. Here's that replay from Fox as well. Look at this. Fantastic stuff to open up A.
Good shot, indeed, to get the shot on Legia as well on the refrag, because unfortunately Legia's missed 2 very key shots. He made up for 1, got away with it ultimately, but the second one that he misses, if he hits the first one, then he's able to control the peak, especially against Fox, the counter-op. It gives them a chance, but secondary opper not hitting those shots in big situations. He's back onto the SMG, forward stance, smoke off. He's going to fall back into the site. One more passive from Dignitas as they want to force our first double overtime of today. We are at PGL, so expect about 8 of them. At least 8, if not more.
Dignitas looking to try and carry us through to the prophesized second overtime. Making their way in through T-spawn, back over towards A, and it's Fox, the man with the AWP, to try and open this up. We know that he's been a threat out towards A, opening up single-handedly in the previous, now looking to try and replicate that once more. Legia holding it up close with the UMP, has got B to try and back him up from CT. The quick rotate can come in from Kiev over towards stairs. The flashbang holds him back. Legia able to get one. Kiev chimes in with another, and actually, this is a good start. Kiev misses that quick flick on up over the top of the stairs. Will be forced back, gonna go down in the smoke as Tensky doubles down. Didn't even see them. Drops out Tabson and Kiev, the 2-star players for Big. Now it's got B and Nex. 2 versus 3 in this retake. Nex has snuck on by. They should have heard that Molotov connect with him. Player under scaffolding, but he doesn't spot him out. Rubino to drop him, and now it's just got B 1 versus 3. Only at the info as to where 2 of these players are, and Tensky to finish him off. Double overtime secured. Matt, we could be in this one for the long haul.
Yep, it's Mirage. I've sat in this room on 78 rounds of Mirage before, so why not? Let's do it again. Unfortunately, we don't have Barbar, so it won't be as enjoyable.
That's a bit of a disservice to some of these guys.
No, it's a very specific reference, actually.
Okay.
I think everyone who watched that minor will know it. I know Henry knows it. I know Chad loves it. But 18-18, we go on to an AWP with Kiev. We go on to one with Fox, so they won't go back to Legia using it, and I can understand why, obviously. 1 good shot and 2 bad ones. But Kiev plays passive as well, so we're not seeing quite as assertive toward Catwalk as what we expected from Fox and what we saw from him in the first of the overtimes, when in which Legia had the secondary op. More smokes from the CTs to hold off the position in the apartments. Bit of a timer on holding them off in that angle, though, because they want to peek out mid while that all happens. Gobby's going to go fence. He's looking down. This is what I expected. So over top of the smoke, but as this one dissolves, Nex has to go back and consider the inside of the B site. Seeing the smoke smoked out on Catwalk late. Capson realizes it, gets the call, but has to be ready to set the crossfire. Can't stay aggressive in this. No one to flash him out, so just sit back. Give them middle at this point. You've got the information. Get the rotation set. He's in a good position to get toward Checker quickly if they do hit B, which it looks like they're going to split onto.
Yeah, pushing up short. Dignitas ready to make their way in. Big. I've got 2 players here. Gobby and Nex ready to hold this one down. Players pushing in from App's going to be their first point of contact as Gobby able to find the first, but it's Croman and Rubino between them. Crack the B bomb site open. Tabson, the first responder on the scene. Bomb going to be going down, not in a position to deny. He worms too far out, and Jacob going to punish him for it. Now it's the 2-on-4. Legia and Kiev locked out the site. Looking like Dignitas should be able to pick this one up. There should be no way really for Legia or Kiev to get back into this. They are going to try. Legia falls, and now it is just Kiev looking to try and save the AWP.
Everything was perfect right up until Croman got the second entry so quickly. And they get in and get the bomb down. As I said, Keeve was in a perfect position. They were waiting to get the information. tabseN called it. They all started running around. But they can't get into position fast enough on that AWP, so really good job from Dignitas to get the favorable trades on the way through. I do have to admire the fact that they gave up mid that early, though, because a lot of times we've seen, especially Dignitas, get stubborn to try and hold the inside of connector. Fox AWP this time, no smoke on Cat. Gonna sit back to see if there will be any aggression. Okay, there's the smoke. It did land after the top, so didn't see it originally. Run boost again. They flashed over to the other side of it, and Fox is gonna try and get in position to try and peek toward Catwalk. Late smoke window. Watch him push toward the chair.
4 players with Dignitas over in mid. tabseN won't get anything done. It's Keeve, the first man to fall. The smoke keeping tabseN from doing much. Actually able to go ahead and get the refrag as it starts to dissipate. Tensky was responsible for trading that one back. Wasn't given the opportunity. Instead, it's Rubino to go ahead and return that man advantage in favor of Dignitas. Fox slipping on out through connector. Croman giving tabseN a back rub. Goes ahead and drops him out now. It's Legia and Nex. Legia, been a bit quiet thus far, but has stepped up right when Big have needed him to. Now would be the perfect time for that. Keeps them out of the sight. Right now, Dignitas trapped over in mid, stuck between a rock and a hard place, looking to try and head on through, and Legia, all that stands between them and getting this bomb down over in CT. Will be allowed to cross the site. Oh, okay, Legia through the box, tries to connect that one. Nearly pixel perfect, just a little bit off, and then Fox quick with the return. Leaving this all on Nex. Dignitas soldiering on forward to a 20th round by the looks of things.
Croman again is the biggest player in that round. It's the first time they've gotten anyone boosted into window all game. tabseN has no idea behind the smoke. So we are going to get Dignitas with 2 straight. Last time it looked like they were going to be in a position to do that, especially where they hindered the money of Keeve so severely on their CT start on the first overtime. Big was able to respond. Worth note, if you're not familiar with overtimes, it would have been 19 rounds that would have won it last time, should no one have made it to 18-18, but now we look for 22. Big's going to call a pause. I think that's their 3rd. They've carried a few into the overtime. And 2 in a row. This is why you have to call it, because with the 10K, it's something that's been debated and actually flirted with. Never obviously in the Valve rule sets, but with ESL and a few different formats. Some people have gone to the MR10 16K, which PGL did famously forever, and then actually went back, including one of the minors, which was a bit interesting because you would have expected it to be the Valve rule set. They've gone back to the 3 rounds here with 10K, but some people flirted with going with 16K. The biggest issue was when Dust 2 was still in the pool. People could buy auto snipers and just spray down middle because you had infinite amount of money if you won the first round. You were never going to be broken. So it was a little bit offset in that regard. But now it's come back down to the situation where that's not even in the pool anymore, so it's not an issue. And I would like to actually see them go back to 16K because overtime should be heads up. And at this point in time, you're seeing teams safe, and you can see the effects of it. They're just getting battered, bruised with utility. Map control gone. Croman gets another good kill on tabseN as he finds more and more entries. In overtime, perhaps they did the whole first part of the game.
Yeah, 2 players over towards short. They have got that bomb down. Croman going to go ahead and pick this up, and he's been the star for Dignitas in these last couple of rounds. As they look now to hightail it out towards A. Bomb plant going to come in. Jacob playing the close angle, looking to try and mop up these 2 Force-Sport players. They peek on out, gets the first, goes for the transfer. Gold B going to get caught in the firing line. Does find the frag, but still got 3 more left to do. And player up in window from behind is Tensky. 21-18 for Dignitas. They need 1 solitary round on their CT side to win this out. Big, they have to go flawless if they want to take us through to a triple OT.
And on the T side to do it, which to be fair, both teams were better on. At least have a better history in this game on. So Keeve, AWP, Gobby. Yeah, I was going to say, I've never seen him be a secondary opera. I can't imagine him picking one up now, but on the AK he goes. And is mid going to be the game? It looks like so, because they've already set the smokes out toward Catwalk.
They're actually going to be throwing those down. Only Tabson heading in towards middle. The rest of the guys pushing in towards B. Fox is here.
This is actually all right. So instead of throwing just the Catwalk smoke, they add a second one in window, which means immediately they have to rotate off of it, and it leaves Fox as the only one in mid. So now he's overcommitted to Catwalk, and they know they beat them inside B last time. Another fast rush down. This is really good calling, actually, from Big. This is exactly the way to beat the setup, and they do it with an additional smoke in mid that's going to completely hinder them.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. Tensky and Chrome and all that remain, and the only choice in this scenario is to save. The only way to win this round is not to play. As Tensky and Croman look to try and hold on to their rifles. Does stop that CT side economy from taking so much damage if they both survive. But as you said, yeah, I mean, fantastic round there from Big. Really nice call. I mean, having Tabson as well up towards short was a nice way to help split in towards the site and catch the guys unaware. The fast play caught them off guard. And we've seen we've seen that happen a couple of times now. They use that to their advantage. It will be a 19th for Big. They start the long, perilous road back to a third overtime by picking up the first in this second half. 19-21, still 2 more rounds. They have to try and win. And the 2 rifles saved up there are going to help bolster that CT side economy, making it a hell of a lot harder for them to break.
I want to see if they change anything on that. Fox has done well to go Catwalk every time, but you can easily switch that with a rifle. And if they're going to keep rushing B, just switch Fox to Van. Maybe let him play sort of a passive-aggressive angle to see in toward Checker, because as soon as they lose the B player and he's on Cat with an AWP, especially with no mid controls they had last round, there's nothing he can do. Absolutely nothing. He's not fast enough to hit shots and turn around and then pull a pistol of all things, because they're going to be on his heels. It's just impossible. So I think the change I would make is probably throw Fox toward the B apartment and let Rubino get more aggressive. This time he's got an A spawn, so he's going to go over toward A, which is fair enough. They'll change it up and let Rubino cover it off. But again, they're already putting pressure onto the B apartments. Lagia and Godby. Swing to underpass, though. Slight difference in that they want to get aggressive. Good trade from Jacob, but Tabson did still manage to get damage done, which will thin them out. Jacob's going to hold top middle, though. So Croman watching underpass is fine, because they can back Fox off of mid with Jacob's positioning. In fact, Croman's confident enough that he'll give up and go to jungle. Jacob's going to flank this as well. Bombs at A, so his flank could be decent if it's fast enough, because if Croman goes down to the 2 players from underpass, his back's turned. He's a sitting duck. That's huge, because now they have the confidence to take the site. Jacob's too far removed. Fox is the only line of defense.
Yeah, he's able to go in and take the first. Still more left to find. The bomb has started to make its way out, but it's been slowed down by Fox's presence, and this is crucial for the flank coming in from Jacob, allowing him to get so close. He's hot on their heels as now the bomb looks to try and come in, but it hasn't even left ramp yet. This is going to allow Jacob just to come on through and pick up a multitude of frags. Most importantly, that bomb planter gets the first. Next, able to trade that out. Was expecting a little bit more in that scenario, as now it falls into the 2-on-2. Bomb plant looking to come in. Next, having some trouble locating. He does get the bomb down. Got beat. In connector, primed and ready for the after plant. Down goes next. Now it's just got beat. 1v2. His team need him to step up here. Rubino and Fox do go ahead and grab the site. He's just going to bide his time. Opt to wait this one down. They tap out the defuse. Waiting to see where he peeks from. They haven't spotted him yet.
Balls of steel from Godby. This is twice he's been in a 1v2 where he hasn't peeked it, and he knows they've tapped it this time. Knows they're likely to hold it. Fox too close on the AWP, and Godby. What a clutch back. They had no idea that he was there, and absolute nerves of steel. If they'd held it on the first time, round was done as he pops back out. And credit to Fox. He's playing an absolutely great game, I have to say. Even with the struggles, some of the mismatches they've had on sort of rotations and calls to counter off, especially B pushes, he hit a shot that was absolutely a must-win after they lost out in middle. So the fact that he hits that slows them down. Jacob was way, way too far away to capitalize on the rotation. Now, unfortunately, he only got one other aspect of it. But Fox was smart enough to not only hit the first shot, but back off as a result of it.
Double setup,
man, that's just awesome.
Yeah, no, fantastic. I mean, that was sensational. Jacob, first casualty as Tabson goes in swinging. Okay, Tabson, what the hell was that? Gets himself 3. Wants to just carry this one through to triple OT as fast as he can, as now it's all Croman and Rubino. 2v4. Rubino even just with a CZ. Dropping out towards mid, desperately trying to scavenge a rifle if he can. Bomb is going to be going down at this point. Looks like triple OT is well and truly in our midst. They lose Rubino, leaving this all on Chroman. Now, he's been the star player for Dignitas, but this is a tall order for anyone. Bomb planted, 1v4. Does have the kit, finds one, but got B to trade things out. Triple OT.
Yeah, here we go again. Another fast rush down toward B, so Big definitely exploited that. Definitely a weakness Dignitas have to change up. More dynamic with the AWP is one way to certainly do it, because Fox has been going to catwalk a lot, aside from when he had the A spawn. It's the only time we've seen them switch it up is when he has a very clear indicative A spawn that he's going toward. And this time, where is he? Backside, so he's going to go B. Or is he? Okay, fair enough. First time we've seen him in window for a while. They haven't really smoked this time. They don't. But Godby hits him with an AK. What a shot again, as Fox can't land it. That's going to open up so much in middle, and as a result, they've given up B entirely. At least for now, Jacob's reconsidering that decision, which is probably apt, although unfortunate for him. It's A that they're going to go.
Yeah, charging on in. Chroman is going to be the last line of defense. Able to find him with the first, still alive and kicking. They haven't had to deal with him just yet, and it's bought so much time for Dignitas to rotate players around. Dabson on the flank could be the difference maker, but not if Tensky has anything to say about it. Godby, apparent clutch king, able to find the first. Oh, Godby with the third. Going to be dealt with there by Jacob, by Rubino, sorry.
Godby's, yeah, this is some best shots we've seen from him opening that up, but I have to give credit to Tensky to save that round, because Chroman made a really interesting decision that I've been critical of him in this A side. I think he lacks what I would call a survival instinct and understanding when to get out. So he plays reverse firebox, which is more of a position you play to get an element of surprise. Once you're found there, especially if they get past Tetris, you have nowhere to go. A mid-site smoke by chance, because they were looking for a fast plant, came through, which gave him a chance to back to ticket booth. He stayed in the site. He was absolutely dead, and Tensky, if he hadn't gotten those kills, absolutely saved him by getting them. So Chroman's got to be a little more efficient, I think, especially if they're going to put so much pressure on mid and leave him in A. It's been a few times he's been caught off by that.
Yeah, I mean, he is one of the the newer players on this roster. I mean, definitely the newest player on the roster in the sense of his experience, and that is kind of telling in that regard. But double up set up now for Dignitas. Rubino and Fox could be the two.
This is exactly the angle that I would have said Fox needed to play, especially if they're going to rush into B. So if they're not going to put Fox there, Rubino's the in-game leader. He's going to call that he wants to do it. I agree with that. This is decent. Problem is, again, if it comes to a retake situation, they're going to be struggling. Good shot from Fox, because he nearly got cut off by Tabson.
And yeah, well, yeah. Throws out that smoke. Let's go ahead and help out his teammates with this push in through mid. It's got B sneaking on by. Bomb. And Kiev over towards ramp. Like, yeah, still just preventing these players on B from rotating off. Does mean it's going to be the 3-on-3 in this A-bomb side. A bit of a brawl to try and get things done for Big in this round. They're looking to try and push on in. Fox on the site with the AWP has to step up. It's Chroman to get his back, and Kiev goes down as well. Fox making this one difficult. He's been tagged within inches of death, but he just keeps on giving. Gets himself a second. And now it's all on Legia, the lone player who was over towards B, trapped in a 1v5. No time left, and just going to have to elect to fall back and save. Cannot go down after the time. Mustn't fall after the time. And Tensky, luckily enough, doing him a big favor there in a way.
Keep moving the ops, boys. Keep moving them around. Fox is getting in better positions now that they haven't seen for a long time. I'm going to make the call. The money as it is, losing 2 in a row again. Big actually won this round last time. After getting a sweep, they pulled it back, but with money as it is, okay. This is why Henry's better at making calls than me. I was going to say this is the rush B, where Rubino's ready for it this time with the second up, but they're going to go A instead. Fox middle can rotate over, but Chroman's going to play aggressive against UMPs and one Tech 9. Risky as he gets back in shadow all the way to reverse fire. They're in the site. This is where he's exactly that, dead. As soon as you get spotted in reverse fire, if they get to Tetris, you're done. And it's exactly the case. Tensky this time's only able to get one. So site's open, but not entirely safe, because Kiev has a bomb, but no smoke towards CT. That's only landing now, so he's got to wait before he can plant, which allows all the CT players to get closer to the site.
Yeah, and in this scenario, Dignitas have actually got everyone around. Plenty of time bought. The bomb only just now going down. It could be prevented by Jacob, who does speak on out, prevents the bomb plant and takes a second. Something he never should have got away with. It all falls onto Tabson. in the 1v3. Big, they'd made this competitive, and now it could slip through their fingers. Bomb down in the middle of the site. Minute left. Jacob spied out in CT, but tabseN tagged. No one from Dignitas peeking into this. Don't want to risk giving anything away, especially not to tabseN. Actually, the peek from Fox. He's going to go down. tabseN tries to flick out on a Jacob, but Jacob gets the trade. 24-21. Dignitas once again. They go ahead and get all 3. They only need 1 now on their T side.
This is still map 1, remember? In case you're joining us. Best of 3, so they're definitely going to distance. Dignitas, now or never, boys. Double op's going to be brought up again. Alagia and Kiev. How risky does Big want to get? Risk reward, catch them off, get control of the situation early. Fox is on his AWP as well, full utility. Obviously they'll buy up in overtime, but 3 kits out for the CTs. Kiev mid-op with no drop down. Gobby's going to wait inside of the site to hold off. More aggressive in the open to give a site to A main. The more information you can get there early, the more confident he can be to pass it off. But Jacob's already opened up on Alagia. The first op's down.
tabseN could be the one to make all the difference, pushing in through lower tunnels. 3 players for Dignitas out in mid, but if he finds an equalizer onto someone like Tensky, who is up in apps right now, could be the opportunity they needed to close this gap. We'll spot him out. He's here alone, but he's looking to play this one safer. Tensky pivots around. No, going to be put down. 2 in the back of the skull, all that takes. As now we're all equal. Mid control going the way of Dignitas. Next is up on short. He has got a player within the site, but actually, I was worried. tabseN looking like he was going to rotate off then. Next goes down on short. Gobby, next man to fall in Dignitas. They've got a 2-man advantage. tabseN and Kiev, all that remains, 2 of the star players for Big to try and keep them in this one. Bomb. Up in apartments. Looking like the wrong call's going to be made here as tabseN slowly but surely peeling on off. I'm going to try and rejoin Kiev out here on A. Will pit them in a 2v4 retake.
This is it. Kiev on a retake AWP with tabseN out of the site. He did well to push back through and get information, but they read it like a book and go down middle. He's been exceptional. Better now than ever. Gets the first, spots up, but tries and can't swing. It's Kroman that's going to win it off instead, and it's all on Kiev. Jumps through, desperate. And he can't hit the first shot. Kroman closes it. Dignitas sweeping 4, but it took them 3 overtimes to do so.
Yeah, that to me just kind of cements the fact that we're going to be going the distance here. 25-21 win for Dignitas in map 1 of this best of 3 series. Of course, I mean, there's all to play for, right? The winner, they're going to get their spot in the major qualifier, which is the reason why all these teams are here. That's what they're trying to compete for. The prize money at the end, that's a nice bonus, but that main thing you're looking for is your shot to make it through to the major. And I think, you know, what we just saw there from Dignitas was promising stuff. I honestly thought that Big would have been the more well-oiled unit. And don't get me wrong, I think the team play was something that really tried to carry them through. I just think Dignitas, they're impressive there. You could tell that they like Mirage.
Definitely like Mirage. They seemed a lot more comfortable, especially on the T side. They had really good mid control and trying to get the early picks. The problem was their CT side, they lost a lot. And when they adapted, it was eventually figured out. Just the bigger issue was that it took Big too long to realize they could exploit B in the same way. The good thing for Big, I would have thought if they won this, they win in 2, because we go to overtime, and we know Dignitas has had some very serious issues. They won yesterday on it, but it was a pretty poor, in fact, one of the worst CT sides I've seen, I think, structurally from a team. So hopefully they've adjusted that, because this could easily go 3 maps and go back to cash, and then I'm not sure where I go. I think I still favor Big on that one. We'll see what the panel thinks right now.
Thanks very much, Matt. Yeah, and we will, of course, come back to you for game number 2. What a long game that one was. Triple overtime, first triple overtime we've had in the minors this season, and eventually won out by Dignitas after getting 6 map points during that one. Big themselves had 2 match points as well, or 2 map points, and weren't able to convert them. So let's find out what Henry and Duncan found in that particular game. Where do you start in this one? I mean, how do you dissect
triple
this?
overtime, that's like a separate game
It
itself.
is,
really.
isn't it,
The
right?
mind games
Yeah.
really change up, and the pace of the game change.
Big, right?
Absolutely, they look much better at the start. It seems like the CT sides for Dignitas generally aren't that great. It's when they're on the T side they actually look very good. I have to say, they kick things off. They looked very comfortable there. They've lost a pistol, but they ran away with it when they got the guns out. They were looking confident within themselves, and this is the initial sectors, as you can see. We've got that 3-0 for Big, and I don't know, Dignitas, when they're on T sides and they can just use their firepower, nice and quick, lots of A splits, lots of mid control coming in. The thing is with Mirage, it's got to the point now where every team is pretty much playing it the same way, right?
Yeah.
You might not have the full smoke executions down, but at least you can go for the basic objective every single time. They seem to have a great understanding of that. It's their CT side is when they kind of struggled a little bit, and that's when they found themselves coming into the end here. That's a nice reaction from Fox.
Yeah, that was kind of the reaction I had when I saw it. I was like, oh! Yeah. And he did exactly the same thing straight after. Yeah, I mean, it was a tough game for both teams in many ways, Duncan, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it looked like Big had it in the palm of their hands the whole way. You know, like you said, they got to match points.
14-11
yeah,
right now.
But then this man here, I mean, you heard the other day when his in-game leader, Rubino, he called him Jakeem.
Jakeem.
Like yeah, Jakeem. He was playing like Steve McJaqueem because he fired that bullet, and they did pull off the Great Escape.
I like that. Double movie reference
Wasn't
in
bad.
there. Yeah, it wasn't bad. Like that one. 5 out of 7. Yeah, I mean, it's just...
And in the end, Kievan cost the game.
Hey,
no, that's better.
That's not bad.
That's, I like that one.
Inside.
That one's a good one.
We'll come back.
And then we go to overtime. So here we are in overtime. And the bizarre thing that happened in here, Henry, was that...
Yes, go on.
They end up going through this first set of overtime. Yeah, they trade rounds. And then they move into the second set of overtime. And bizarrely, Dignitas then suddenly become the world's best Team Mirage team of all time. They win 3 in a row, and you think, well, that's that then. That's that. And then suddenly Big are brilliant on T-side.
I think what Ducker said, it's like a different game at that point. The CTs are trying to mix things up, throw Spanner into the works, get aggressive at the start. We saw lots of that from the CT side of Dignitas. They're trying to just get that first pick with the tongue every time. How can I talk and that's going on the screen? The thing is that you're trying to find that one round on the CT side, right? But that can be some of the hardest. He's got some great reactions.
Tell you what, his girlfriend's a
love
lucky
Fox.
fucking woman.
I love Fox.
He's back.
Good with his hands and, you know.
Yeah, when you've got the 3-0, right, it can be one of the hardest things to close out, especially for a new team as well. You're just trying to find that one round. You're like, let's go aggressive here. And if you're on the CT side, right, you buy double orbs, you get the single orb out, you win that first round in overtime on the CT side, then the money starts getting dwindled. It's basically 2 rounds you've got to do it, otherwise you're going the pistols in the third. And Dignitas struggling on their CT side. It's understandable what that happens in overtime, but their T side looked pretty good throughout, and they managed to close things there. I guess if you're looking for like kind of the most star performances there from the Dignitas side, Fox once again, he keeps delivering in this tournament. I'm so surprised at the consistency he's got every single map. He doesn't seem to be dropping off right now.
And obviously, by the way, this was Dignitas' map pick, but Big was in such great position. This is a very good map for them as well. They felt like they were going to take this one, whereas actually this was the one map where online the Dignitas guys had been looking fantastic. Like they were losing to, you know, like Astralis, that's it. You know, there weren't really many people who were taking them. So I have to say, obviously it's going to depend who ends up winning this series, but it feels like this is what it's going to hinge on, like this one right here, because really both teams at times deserved to win it, at times had it won, seemingly, and it's too close when it gets to that point in time. No one can really feel like they played the perfect game.
Yeah, indeed. We're going to take a look at the MVP, which is Jakeem, in Rubino's words, with 39 for 33. Obviously, we did have 46 rounds. 10 assists, 7 retakes in here, no clutches, 10 trade kills for an ADR of 94.3. Whilst that's great and Jacob had a great game, I do want to shout out to Tabs. 45 kills in this game in 46 rounds, and on the losing side, how the hell are you going to do any more?
Well, the thing is, there was a dramatic drop-off in that team as well. We had Legia, who looked incredibly poor throughout. Like he was,
and then switched to an AWP, which didn't look good on either.
He used to be the secondary AWP for the NRG team, and he actually was the primary AWP for them at one point as well. So it's understandable going to the secondary AWP, he'll bring it out at one point. But yeah, he looked poor throughout, maybe even worse with the AWP as well. Lots of big misses as well. Players weren't even looking at him, but he did win that clutch that kind of got them back into the game. So you know, peaks and troughs.
Is that what they call his wife? His big misses. So you know.
You are on fire today, aren't you? What did you drink this morning on the way in?
G&T.
Yeah,
G&T,
probably. Yeah, had a bit of G&T
Can't get
on the
enough of
side.
that. Keeps me up all night.
So, 1-0 to Dignitas right now.
Yes, that is the score.
Can Big come back? They've got their map to look forward
Yeah,
to.
that's the thing. For me, Big was doing really well on that map. That's a very good map for them. But that was they were trying to steal away Dignitas. And I feel like it was big. Like I feel like Dignitas had to win that one actually. So. Right. As much as it's a heartbreaker to lose like that for Big, the key for them is all the maps in this series are good for them. So if they really are a top-level team, they did play pretty good T-sides. Yeah. They have to know that actually, in theory, it gets easier from here. Like Dignitas aren't going to be as good on the other maps. I mean, at some point, one of them's Inferno. So you have to feel like I still think they're on course to be able to take this one. Okay, Henry. In the way that Big have approached that first game, and obviously, as Duncan put it quite nicely, they wanted to steal that one away. That hasn't quite worked out. They're not going to be mentally
jarred by that, are they? Because although it was triple overtime, they will feel a bit hard done by. They would also then reset surely and go, no, we've still got 2 very good maps for us.
Absolutely. You get 10 minutes after the map just to work out, okay, yeah, we had the lead. It wasn't our map pick. If we get that, amazing. We probably just tie the series up right here, right now, or carry that on. But you always think to yourself, first map goes by, that's not the end of the world. Going through, though, I'm actually thinking Dignitas might be able to do this on Inferno. You know?
Oh, okay, he switched it up.
Okay.
I'm just saying because they know...
Do you like that resilience that they've just shown? In that? Because bear in mind, they were on the verge of losing this match. They were 14-11 down, then they were match point for twice. They saved both of those with a mishmash of guns, and then even came back in overtime. But that shows a lot of resilience for a team.
For me, it's their CT sides that have been poor. And after listening, we kind of waited for them outside of the taxis yesterday. They know they've got so many things to address in their CT side of Inferno. I think they're happy to play it again today. They can kind of look at those issues and hopefully fix them going into this game. Those CT issues are, in Counter-Strike, the easiest issues to fix, right? It's not down to timings, it's down to general setups and how you react to certain things. So I think if they can sort that out today, I think they did some research on that last night. They've got the coach here as well. Hopefully he's addressed those issues. And after seeing that performance, I think they can do. I think the 2-0
I mean, both of you have been very critical of the T sides that we've seen over the last 3 days. Has been an issue, hasn't it? For a lot of teams, T-sides have been very difficult because you've got to be a bit more strategic, and we haven't seen that. These guys don't have that problem. They are winning teams, even if they are a bit weird sometimes with some of the strategy. It's working for them. So surely, as Henry pointed out, fix a few of these CT issues, and maybe that's the difference. Yeah,
but that's one of the problems for me. It's like, first of all, like this is arguably their best map, and they've narrowly come through on this one. So I feel like as you go deeper in the map pool, as we saw, it gets a bit ropey for Dignitas. So you have your questions there, even about the T side. And then on CT side, I mean, they haven't played together very long. They haven't got established relationships, really, you know. So that, unlike almost every other team, even when you make a roster move, you still keep a core together. You still have people where you know what site they play. I mean, this is one example of where you bang 5 players in there. You don't even necessarily know that someone plays a site. You might have to just start learning from scratch. So you really are doing a total rehaul now. Yeah, maybe if you qualify from here and you get to the qualifier, maybe that's time to work it. I don't think you've got time to turn it around this tournament now.
Okay, all right. As you can see, players are just headed back to their chairs right now, so we'll dip into our social media goodie bag and pull out a couple of stonking questions for the boys on the panel. This next one is favourite map to cast, watch, or analyse, Henry?
I love Cash, simply for the reason it's got so many options on the CT side and T side for fast and aggressive plays. CTs can push B storage like we saw earlier today. Because had like 4 players into towards the B storage on the pistol or push the squeaky door. AWPers are really prevalent, and it's a really exciting map in my opinion. I used to love Dust 2 as well. I'm not sure what you guys think about that, but it was one of my favourite maps to play and cast.
I don't think you can not be a Counter-Strike fan and not like Dust at some point. I mean, you get a bit bored sometimes.
It's like level hater, right?
Oh, come on, why am I... Every matchmaking game, every Faces game, gee, can someone pick something else? So there are times when you just go through that kind of motion of, please, I'm done. I've played it for 10 years. Can we just play something else? But for some reason, since it's been out of the map pool, I've almost missed it a bit.
Yeah, it's coming back.
Like, please come back.
After this major, I think we'll be back.
We'll get it back. What about you, Duncan?
I'm actually going to go with Overpass because, I mean, especially, this is one of the reasons for me as to why all these Danish teams have become so strong recently, because they lead the world on that map, you know. The T side of that map is very, very tricky. It's very nuanced, and it's all about, like, power dynamics of where you set up to go to the site. It's not a site that you just pick one and you go to it. You have to kind of play the other site in a way which then allows you to go to one site. And so going to either site is so different. And so there's only a few teams can pull it off. And that's also why it's very strange to me, because even though you get kind of cultural similarities, for example, German teams often play very slow and methodical, that's like generally a style thing, you know. Bizarrely, these top 3 Danish teams are all among the best teams in the world on that map. They've really just like pioneered kind of the tempo you play at, how you attack. And so the fact that, it's one thing if Astralis can do it, they're one of the best teams in the world. But you go right down to Heroic, you know, sometimes they're not even in the top 10. But you put them on Overpass against almost any team, they have a shot, you know. So so for me, it's a very special map. It's kind of a niche map, you know, but I can really appreciate when people have kind of mastered it.
Okay. Plans aren't quite ready, so can we?
They never are.
Yeah, can we dip in one more? Can we grab one more social media question? We can. Is the UMP still viable for CT?
Yes. Definitely.
Absolutely,
I don't know, didn't do much at all.
I don't even understand that, do I?
I mean, we discussed it a little bit yesterday privately, and we were saying, like, because I was saying to you, would you have preferred them to not have nerfed it at all long range, but actually reduce the kill reward for it?
Yes, exactly. So I don't think that nerf was even required. That was the wrong way to approach it. In my opinion, all you have to do, like, obviously it's kind of not perfect, but I'm saying you increase the value of the gun so it goes up to $1,800 to buy it, and you take the kill reward down to the standard $300, right? So that means that you have to make the decision. When you have $2,000 and your teammates have said a couple of M4s, you can't say, oh, don't worry, I'm going to buy UMP and armor on the CT side. We don't need head armor right here. I've got a full buy, essentially. I can join you on this battle. If you have to have $1,800 and you have to make a choice, okay, I won't have armor, I won't have utility here. This is actually still a really tricky situation. The gun's too cheap, it's too powerful right now, still 100% viable with its little nerf. I think we're still I thought we'd see more of the FAMAS since that nerf came in. Haven't really. Like sometimes in the second round instead of an M4, but overall, yes, and it still is a massive issue. They can't change it now before the major. It is what it is. But
I mean, increasing it to 1,800, reducing the kill reward, that brings the FAMAS back in.
That
as
definitely
well,
does,
doesn't it?
because then you're thinking, right, okay, I need the extra range here. It's not the kill reward is the main thing, right? That's what makes it such a tantalizing weapon. Is you can actually farm cash and go aggressive just to kill unarmored players and run around and make the money back you've paid for that weapon instantaneously in one round. Which
I mean, we saw it
the game,
on Cash where there were some short range positions. I mean, for instance, right out in the open on B, where you just go, it's a bit risky, but actually at short range, at that kind of range where all three of them come through the door.
You need 2 kills with the weapon, right?
Exactly, and it's paid off.
So it's nuts.
Yeah, and they picked up 3. All right, interesting. We're going to get more from both of our members of the panel after our second game. As we head into it, Dignitas taking the lead in the first one. Can Big make a comeback? Let's find out with our commentary team.